Hey, I'm Steve with Marine Depot Direct and Whitewater Marine Hardware today. We wanted to come together and give you a in-depth guide on how to install one of our vented deck fills. These have a really narrow margin of error, so they are a bit difficult to install. So we came together and we made an updated mounting template for 2020. This is perfectly to scale, so if you were to print this out, there is a small circle down here that is exactly 3/4 of an inch. If you measure that with a ruler or precision calipers, that's what I would recommend, and it is not 3/4 of an inch, your computer probably resized it, and you'll need to make sure that that does not happen, because if this is resized, all of these markings are going to be off. So, to properly install this, there's a list of materials required. So there is a marker that you can trace out. You'll probably also need an X-Acto knife or something to kind of cut this out. You'll need a drill, and then 3 hole saws or drill bits. We don't really recommend drill bits just because they don't come up to, usually you can't get a drill bit that's 1.5 or 2 inches, but we have a 3/4 inch spade drill bit that we're going to be using for the 3/4 inch hole. Other than that, you're going to need 4 number 10 stainless steel fasteners to kind of fit in here. We do not sell those, so sold separately. You'll need a file to smooth the holes and remove any kind of burrs from the final bit here. A screwdriver to get everything installed properly, marine grade urethane based sealant, and a 1.5 inch ID fill hose, 5/8 inch ID vent hose, and stainless steel clamps to match the hose diameter. So, since we don't have a boat to drill into, we do just have a piece of wood that is about the right thickness. It is a little bit too thick, but we've actually tested this pretty exhaustively the last couple days, and it actually still works for the purpose of our tutorial here. So, once you go ahead and print this out, which I've done a little bit beforehand, as you can see, go ahead and use an X-Acto knife to try to cut this out as precisely as possible. The big thing that you get are the little center holes. If you have those, you really don't have to worry about much else. So what I did was I cut this out, then I used an X-Acto knife to kind of bore through the exact center of each little crosshairs that's in the center of each circle. And once I got that how I wanted it, and I traced the whole thing just to kind of make sure I was on the level, I put a little dot in each center, so now I have perfectly centered guide holes. So let's move on to the fun part and the drilling. So the order that you drill the holes in actually does matter quite a bit for these bottom 2 circles. That's because if you drill out the bottom circle entirely, the center of the middle circle is going to get drilled out and you won't have anything to guide you. If you drill out the center circle completely, that's going to eliminate the center circle, the center dot of the bottom circle. So what we recommend is drill the top hole first. You can drill that completely through, that's fine. Then for the bottom hole, you want to just score that. That way you have a guide for your hole saw once the center hole is drilled out. And then you can go ahead and drill the center hole all the way through. So we're going to do the 3/4 inch first. There we go. Now that we have the top hole completely out, I'm just going to go ahead and score the bottom hole the 1.5 inches. and now we'll completely drill out the center hole. Alright, and now we can just finish drilling out the bottom hole. So now that you have the rough holes drilled is when you want to take your file and kind of smooth out and open up any of the little areas that might have any little burrs or extra deck material that are getting in your way. You can also open up this a little bit and file that down. Because when you download the template, I'll actually throw a little I'll overlay that on the screen right now. You can see that it's not a perfect circle on top, it kind of goes down straight. So you can go ahead and open that up. Okay, so once we have that all filed down, smoothed out, and you've removed any kind of burrs that are getting in your way, and any kind of extra deck material, you can go ahead and dry fit this in just to double check what's just to kind of double check the fit. And once you slide that up, it is a perfect installation, and there's not a whole lot of room for the sealant, but that is pretty much the best that you can get with something that this thick that you have to fit through your deck material. So without the use of anything else, you can just drill the holes, put this in there, seal it up, and once it's in there, go ahead and screw that down. And yeah. And that's all there is to it. So there's very little tolerance, but the overall installation isn't that hard. So if you like this video, go ahead, leave a like down below. Better yet, subscribe. That helps us out more than you know. And if you turn on the notification setting, you will be notified anytime we put up a new video. With that said, just have a great rest of your day and have fun boating.